First revealed at the Paris Motor Show in 2010, the Jaguar C-X75 was meant as a celebration of all things Jaguar. And 2 years later, and a lot of development work with the Williams F1 team, has created this, a working prototype with a 4-cylinder turbo and supercharged engine with a near 900 brake horsepower output thanks to some hybrid motors on the front and rear axles. This is the 5th and final prototype out of a run of 5. And as you can see, the finished car looks a bit different from the concept. So you've got wider air vents, these air vents, beautiful air vents sitting at the top of each of these 4 raised haunches, and it looks absolutely incredible. But you might think this is static, but in fact we're going to get to drive this car out on the track, first in electric mode and then in full dynamic mode. So I can't wait to find out what that's going to be like.
Before we get a chance to test the car properly, Jaguar chassis guru Mike Cross takes us for a run in purely electric mode, but despite the eerie lack of noise, it feels alarmingly quick on the handling circuit. After that, the 2 prototypes are both put on charge for 20 minutes to ensure that they deliver the full 880 brake horsepower during our dynamic runs. We prepare by putting on a fireproof race suit, and Mike talks us through this amazing engine. Between the swathes of carbon fibre, you can see the enormous turbo and superchargers poking out either side. They are the key to unlocking 502 brake horsepower from such a tiny 1.6 litre engine, and while each of the electric motors adds a further 194 brake horsepower at each axle. We get a final chance to familiarise ourselves with the cockpit and the kill switches before Mike gets back behind the wheel and we hear the engine roar into life for the first time. Once we hit the high-speed bowl, Mike puts his foot down to show what the C-X75 can really do. Keep your eyes locked on the speedo as we hit 198 miles an hour on the straight. At that speed, the aerodynamics produce 200 kilos of downforce. Suddenly, it's our turn to drive, and after getting settled behind the wheel, we take it easy at first. There's standing water all over the track, and this near-priceless car has no ESP. Surprisingly though, for such an extreme machine, the ride is really composed, and the steering feels very natural and light, just like a normal road car. Changes from the automated manual gearbox are savage, but we hit 194 miles an hour without trying, before heading back to base. It's a real testament to how accessible the performance of this hybrid is.
So we've just been out driving the Jaguar C-X75, first with Mike Cross at the wheel and then myself around Jaguar's testing circuit in the full dynamic hybrid mode. In that state, it's making over pretty much 900 brake horsepower. It'll do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds and 0 to 100 miles an hour in 6 seconds. And I can assure you it feels every bit that fast. We're doing nearly 198 miles an hour on the 1.3 mile straight. And I'm shaking, it was so exciting. It sounds like an old school rally car, the 1.6 supercharged engine just roaring behind your head the whole time, but you can feel the electric motors working. And the most surprising thing is that it feels a lot like a Jaguar to drive. They've engineered it with great steering, really oily and natural feel, and the ride's actually surprisingly supple, but it's a true adrenaline hit. So for now, sadly, it's just an engineering project that will go into future Jaguars, but we wish they'd build it because it was truly a stunning thing to drive.